Just got my hands on a new frame from iFlight, well, newish frame from iFlight. It's the iFlight XL7 Low Rider. This is a new-ish type of frame for me. It's a bit bigger than your normal 5-inch acro quad. This is a 7-inch, I guess cruising quad is the best way to put it. So we'll just quickly go through what you get. I've actually already opened this, so that was just sitting there. We'll empty this out. So you get some nice iFlight stickers, they'll be good. And obviously all the carbon parts. They all came in individual bags, which was an interesting way to package them. You also get these little foam pads. I guess they're supposed to go on the end of the motors to stop them hitting the ground. End of the arms, sorry, to stop them hitting the ground. I'm not going to bother with those, so they can go over there. They gave me 2 battery straps. This is going to be useful because I'm planning on getting a bigger battery for this quad. With 7-inch props, I should be able to lift a bit more weight. So I was going to get some 1800 milliamp 4S batteries. And they're a little bit bigger, so 2 battery straps is probably a better way to hold those in. And these are all the metal parts, so these are the standoffs. So we'll just quickly have a look at the carbon on this. It's actually quite nice carbon. There's no rough edges, that's actually quite smooth. It looks like it's cut really well. Yeah, there's nothing really wrong with it. It's quite nice. Hopefully all the parts are the same, quite a few bits. There's no instructions on how to put this together, but it doesn't look particularly difficult. So yeah, I'll put it together and we'll see how we go. I've just got the arms on, and there's a couple of little notes I wanted to make about that. First off, there's only 2 bolts holding on each arm, which isn't a massive deal. This isn't an acro quad or a race quad, so they're probably not going to be seeing much impact, so 2 screws is probably fine, but these outer screws were a bit of a pain in the bum to get on. So they've got these little lug things that go into the carbon, and I have these on some of the Armatan quads that I've got, and on the Armatan quads these actually press into the carbon, so you sort of press them in and they grip around the inside of the carbon. These don't grip at all, so basically what you have to do with these is hold it in place and then screw into it, and then when you tighten it up it pulls it all together. So once you've got them on, it's not much of a problem. They're not going to move around or undo or anything, but they slide around a bit in the hole, which was a bit annoying. The other problem that I had was originally I put these arms on backwards. I didn't think you'd be able to put them on backwards because they look exactly the same both ways, but after studying it a bit, this edge here is dead straight, and this edge here actually has a little nook in it, and it goes in and then it comes back out to go into the middle, so the forearms all touch together. You can see them touching together here in the middle. And what that nook's for, I've noticed, is it gets it clear of this hole here, which is the battery strap. And the reason that's important is because if I put the battery strap in all the way through, you'll notice that that's only just big enough for 1 battery strap. So even though I was planning on using 2 battery straps on the bottom to secure the battery, there's no way I'm going to be able to do that. So it's going to be 1 battery strap in the middle, and that's going to be it. The only real upside with that is the way these screws work. They go through there. Oops, I'll find all those later. They go through the bottom and come up into the little nylon standoffs. So these are actually quite. They're quite rounded. There's no sharp corners or anything on those, and these ones will be far enough away from the battery. They're not really. They're kind of nice anyway, they're rounded anyway, but they're far enough away from the battery that they're not going to touch it. So there's not going to be anything on the bottom that's going to like push into the battery particularly hard. The other thing, these are the same screws, these are going to go on the bottom as well, so those ones there will be exactly the same. They'll be, again, they'll be resting up, again the battery will be pushing up against them, but they're not going to do any serious damage to the battery. They might leave little nubbles in it, but that'll be about it. Alright, so I'm almost finished building it, so I'll finish doing that and then we'll get back to it. Alright, so we've got it together. So after getting all the arms sorted out, it was actually really quite easy putting the rest together. Yeah, so it actually looks like quite a nice quad. It's quite large. It's difficult to keep it in shot. I guess the first thing I'm going to do, I have one of my 5-inch quads here, is I'm going to show you just how large it actually is. So that's, they're both X frames. That's it all lined up just about spot on. It's difficult to see because I've got the motor in the way. And you can clearly see both motor mounts past the end. It is a significantly bigger frame, but yeah, the body in the middle is almost completely hidden, so the body itself comes out a little bit. This is just an SCX. It comes out a little bit more at the back, but other than that, it looks pretty good. So yeah, so this is going to be able to swing 7-inch props. I have a 5-inch prop over here just for giggles. So if I put that on, you can. That's about where the motor's going to go. Clearly see that's not even close. I have a 6-inch prop as well here. I'll get that out of the way. I'll put this on as well. This is a 6-inch triple, and that's also not really going to be any close. Now I don't have any 7-inch props, so it's going to be really difficult for me to show that a 7-inch prop will swing on this. But I mean, you can see if I put them both on top of each other. I get them over here. The difference between a 5 and a 6 is not the same as the gap between where the 6 and the frame is, so there's a really good chance that 7-inch is going to fit on that, no problems at all. And 7-inch props are going to be huge. So as far as the frame itself goes, it looks quite nice. There's to stand up this way, there's a little camera brace here for your HS1177 type camera. I'm going to be using a Runcam Swift on this one because I have one laying around. And yeah, there's not really much else to it. The arms are obviously individual. There's this nice sort of engraved iFlight here. It doesn't go all the way through. I don't know if the camera's really picking it up. If I move it around a bit, you can probably see it there. It's just sort of engraved into the carbon, which is really quite nice. Now, as I said before, the battery strap on the bottom, there's only enough space for one there, but it actually looks like there's a mounting for battery straps on the top. If I get them both and put them next to each other there, you can see you could actually run both battery straps through that hole on the top. So if you wanted to run your battery on the top of this quad, you'd be able to strap it down with both battery straps. I also got these green standoffs on the website. These are blue. There was no mention of other colours. This is just what came in the box. I actually quite like the idea of having a green one. I don't have a green quad, so that's good. That's going to make it stand out a little bit different from the other quads I've got. So what we'll do is we'll take some of the measurements. So I've got under here somewhere. There we go. Needed this handy. I guess the most important thing is the arm thickness. So if I bring this up like that, can we see it? No, and we clamp it together. That says 4mm. So these are 4mm thick arms. The top plate itself is 2mm, and the actual bottom plate is also 2mm. Now the bottom plate and the arm, and there's another plate on the top, when you add them all together, that's an 8mm thick chunk of carbon there at the bottom. So I don't think these arms are going to go anywhere if they hit anything, and they're 4mm thick, so you're probably not going to be breaking them unless you have a really good crash. What else? We want to really test and see how big a gap we've got in here. So can I do that? Yes, I can. So, I might just have to read this one out. So that's 22mm. They should be able to get probably 22mm, able to get at least 2 things on your stack, possibly a third, if you don't mind it getting up close to the top. And the other measurement, which is going to be difficult for me to measure, is this measurement here. So because the front and the back both hang out past that big chunk of carbon, you actually get 28mm clearance in there, so these standoffs are 28mm. So you get this nice little extra bit at the back here that's outside the stack. Your stack would sit about here, camera goes here, and you have this sort of extra bit here where you can put additional electronics if you need to. Yeah, so all in all, it looks like quite a good frame. It's got the normal 2200 spacings for your motors. It obviously doesn't have the 1800 smaller ones, so you can put 2205s, I think I'm going to go with. But being 7-inch, you'd need lower kV motors, or you're going to be drawing massive amounts of power. So the other thing I was going to do was do a motor-to-motor measurement. I think this rule is long enough. So yeah, that's about the middle of the motor there. I need to go down the screws, and that's yeah, 281 millimeters. It's about 280 motor to motor, and this should be the same. Yep, obviously. And between motors here, it's 190. It's called 198, and I believe this is a True X, so this should also be 198. Yeah, that's pretty much exactly the same. So this is a True X frame. Yeah, so the only real thing I've noticed so far, without building anything to it, is you've only got this sort of half a semicircle bit at the back. I don't know what really that's supposed to be for, but I was kind of hoping that it would be a full circle and you'd be able to put your VTX antenna. There's nothing on the top, and there's also nothing on the bottom that matches up. So there's no real way of mounting a video antenna on this unless you want to poke it through one of these holes. So I don't really know how I'm going to deal with that when I come to the build, but I can always print something up just to hold it in and try and use this. It would have been really nice if, instead of having this funny shape here, it would have maybe come out and there'd been a circle about here, so you could put your video antenna in that way. But yeah, it's got little cutouts for cable ties at the bottom, and some at the front for some reason. It's got some here as well, so you can cable tie something to the top if you needed to. It's handy to have little holes everywhere, just to see how you, just to help you out with mounting things. So yeah, this was the iFlight XL7 Low Rider, and it's just a quick look. I'm going to be building this frame out in probably a month or so. I'm still collecting the parts for it. But yeah, I should do a build video when I finally get around to building it, and I'll probably go through a sort of demo of how to build quads with this one, I was thinking, but no promises on that. Alright, so if you like this video, give it a thumbs up. If you didn't like it, feel free to give a thumbs down. It'd be nice if you left a comment as to why you didn't like it. If you'd like to see me do videos about anything else, please leave it in the comments, and maybe think about subscribing. Thanks very much.